Okay, so now that we've already looked at what Storybird is and how it can be applied in the classroom for various content types, I wanted to give you a more hands-on and visual tutorial about how to create a Storybird, some of the resources available for teachers, and just kind of the thought process and the creative appeal behind using this application in the first place. So here's just the home page for Storybird. Right here, you'll need to sign up, create a free account. Very basic to do that. You'll start that process here. I'm going to go ahead and sign in just using my pre-existing account. Okay, here is the studio right here. This is the home base for a teacher who's using this in the application in the classroom. What you'll probably need to start by doing once you learn how to create books and can show students that process, you'll want to add them to the class. So here are two options to do that. You can either use usernames and first and last names and add people manually, or you can use a secure access code right here for students to add themselves. That eliminates the need to use email addresses or any other personal information like that. Once you have students in a class, you will want to create an assignment, of course, and here's where you're going to do that. Create an assignment. Okay, so right here you give your assignment a name, describe it, or give directions for students to follow. You can specify what sort of artwork they can use. There is a huge library of licensed pieces that Storybird utilizes when people are creating books. And you can either specify an artist, because a lot of them have kind of the same characters or themes or artistic styles, or you can specify a tag to limit by general subject matter or content. Because there is a lot of stuff available out there, thousands in fact of images. You can also specify a format. There's three types of formats you can use to create a Storybird. One is the long form book. It says multi-chapter here. This is for longer, more developed pieces, or for writers who are a bit more proficient with language. You can create picture books, which are great for lower grade levels, or just for more concise or pithy types of language, juxtaposed with images, of course. You can also create poetry here, and put words together to create poems related to whatever image you select. So, once you've created an assignment, then students will need to actually create one. So you're going to go up here to create. Alright, so the first thing you'll see is just an assortment of random images. They do allow you to search right here by subject matter. I'm just going to go down here and just select some image that strikes my fancy, just to show you a beginning example of how you would start creating one of these Storybirds. Oh, alright, well I'm going to take this one right here, this animated robotic scene. I think I'll go with a picture book just for the starting example. And now you can see the image has already been placed here on my first page. Down here on the bottom you'll see that there's also a cover page that's totally blank as of now. You can choose a general style for that cover. There's a lot of different choices here, and aesthetics and patterns that one can choose. I'll go with this one since it's got some themes related to robots there, some other sci-fi, futuristic types themes. Alright, now right down here is where you'll add more pages. You can add as many as you want. And then once you have your different pages selected, you can start sifting through all these images. And so you can click on any of the images to make it a little bigger, more visible, and shuffle them around, move them around as such. And then basically what you need to start doing is looking for connections, either from just clear subject matter or from themes that can be used to start creating your narrative. Okay, so if I choose this one here, I just put an image here, and now I can write just random, whatever text I wanted to write to go with this image. After that, you can move slides around, you can change and edit any of your texts here, and you can, of course, select new images to keep the story going. So here's a new one. Okay, so that's just a basic introduction to how you'll create a Storybird. Now, I do want to show you an example of a finished product, so I'm going to go back here to just the You part of this website, and it has all the stuff that you've already created. Here's a Storybird that I made as part of my own assignment for school, called When the Moon is Out. So something that I realized while trying to use Storybird myself is that you don't have total control over the images that are available to you. You get a certain selection going with keywords or your own searching, And then within that group, you have to start finding connections. So at first it seemed frustrating to me not having utter freedom to choose whatever image I'd like for any given moment in a story. But it did force me to think creatively and to make those connections independently. So I found a whole bunch of pictures related to the nighttime and different creatures, both real and imaginary, and created a story based around that general concept. Sometimes I was able to find images that were very directly connected, like these two that both have to do with stars, one with a constellation, one without. I found a couple that have to do with these owls, nighttime creatures, a solo and a group right here. Some different imaginary creatures like these two. Found a couple that involved humans and humans interacting in the nighttime environment. And then these two of a child who's kind of looks like a fox and then an actual fox here. So I use those in conjunction to add this little narrative element about people turning into animals, that kind of old mythic idea of transforming into wild beasts. And so that's generally it right here, is just you are able to find these connections by sifting through images and use them to create your own narrative. So I found the process to be very kind of eye-opening and engaging myself, and I feel like students would feel similarly. So now that I've given you a more hands-on kind of approach to how to use Storybird, perhaps you have some of your own ideas for how you might implement this technological app in the classroom. Alright, in any case, hope this tutorial has been helpful, and thank you for listening.